Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of colors. Our North Police Ceremonial Unit and the Fraternal Order of Police Honor Guard will be led in by the South Park Pipes and Drum Band. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as I call forth Detective Mesa Thomas of the North Police Division, who will perform our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you very much, Detective. Ask that you please remain standing as I call forth Reverend Louise Scott Roundtree from the Mayor's Office of Clergy Affairs, who will deliver our invocation.
Let us pray. Dear God, we come this afternoon to give you thanks for this day that you've allowed us to see that we will never see again. We have come on this day that has been set aside to honor with appreciation and respect at this awards ceremony on this beautiful day those who protect and serve the residents of this great municipality called Newark, those who have been chosen for the years 2019 and 2020 to be recognized because they had the courage to face and conquer their own fears, because they had the courage to go where others could not or would not go. We thank you for giving them strength of body to protect, even when they were not sure how they could make it. We thank you, God, for their dedication. Dear God, you have graciously given our Newark Department of Public Safety officers 2 families, their personal and their professional. We pray for their continued strength and support. God, we ask that you continue to bring unity and synergy to these men and women as they guard each other's lives while working together to keep us and our communities safe. Now we pray that you continue to be in our mayor, our director, and the Baraka administration and all that serve with them to strengthen them as we invoke your presence in this event, on this event, and over this event today. Continue to be beneath us to support us. Go before us to guide us. Continue to keep your angels encamped over us as a shelter. As some of our ancestors have joined the ancestors to watch over us, we continue to ask you, God, to just be with us, not just on this day, but each and every day as we go forward in faith. Now I pray this prayer, so it is and so shall it be. I declare and decree in the name of some who call you Allah, some who call you Yahweh, some who call you Elohim, some call you Jesus, but you're surely our God and our Creator. Amen, Amen, and Ashe.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend Roundtree. This time, I'd ask you remain standing as I call forth Detective James Stewart, President FOP Lodge 12, as we solemnly remember our recently fallen public safety members. Sergeant Michael Clegg. Detective Irving Callender. Detective Brian McAdams. Detective Marcus Thomas. Police Officer Michael Connors. Police Officer Hector Moya. Police Officer Andy Jimenez. Police Officer Dexter Bright. Special Police Officer Tolbert Furr. And Intelligence Analyst Daniel Francis. Ladies and gentlemen, let's observe a moment's silence for our fallen heroes. Thank you. Please be seated. Good afternoon and welcome to the Newark Department of Public Safety 2019-2020 Police Award Ceremony. My name is Raul Malave. I'm the Assistant Public Safety Director, and it is my privilege to serve as the Master of Ceremonies for today's event. Before we begin the speaking portion of the ceremony, I want to take a moment to recognize some distinguished guests that are here with us today. Our Business Administrator, Eric Pennington, Thank you, B.A. Our Fire Chief, Rufus Jackson. Toby Taylor, ATF Special Agent in Charge. From the New Jersey State Police, we have Lieutenant Colonel Fritz Frage and Deputy Superintendent Jeffrey Noble. Rachel Honing, Acting U.S. Attorney, and her entire team from the U.S. Attorney's Office. Thank you. George Crouch, FBI Special Agent in Charge. Roger Leon, Superintendent, Newark Schools. We have Deputy OEM Coordinators Juba Dowdell and Frank Bellina. We also have Phyllis Mama Morgan. She needs no introduction. And we have Rosalia Clegg. Is also here with us. Thank you, Mama Clegg. Today's a great day for public safety, specifically the Newark Police Division, because we get to do something we ordinarily don't get to do very often. And that is to pause and recognize acts of bravery, valor, and excellent service by members of the Newark Police Division. This year, we combined 2 years' worth of exceptional acts of gallantry, restraint, de-escalation, and superb displays of leadership by members of Newark's finest. Congratulations to all of our award recipients on a job well done. At this time, it is my great honor to introduce the Mayor of the great city of Newark, the Honorable Ras J. Baraka, for a few words.
Thank you. First, we'd like to thank our Public Safety Director, Brian O'Hara, Deputy Director, Raul Malave, Chief of Police, Lee Douglas, Chief of Fire is also here, Rufus Jackson, all of our partners that was stated, ATF, FBI, U.S. Attorney's Office, State Police, which a lot of the things that we get done here in the city of Newark, we can't get done without their cooperation. But this isn't just an award ceremony for law enforcement today. Today we combine this award ceremony with acknowledging the works of the law enforcement officers and public safety department, but also community members as well. Because we recognize that public safety in the city is a joint effort between law enforcement and the effort between community. That without that cooperation, the gains that we've made in the city of Newark that are being touted all over the country could not be what they are and what they will be without the community's involvement. And I want to say what you honor, what you pay homage to, is what you respect. What you center, what you focus on, ultimately becomes your culture. It's not what you think, it's what you do every single day, which determines the kind of culture you'll have. We have made an individual, deliberate decision to make sure that we honor police officers, law enforcement, public safety officers for the work that they've done in our community, very specific work that they've done, but also combine that with the work that community leaders are doing in our city as well. It's really not rocket science. It is a community that we all live in, and all of us are responsible for the safety of every single individual in our community. All of us, from the store owner, to the cop walking the beat, to the detective, to the captain, to the folks at the hospital, and people at the Brick City Peace Collective as well. I know 2019 and 2020 were tough years for us, 2020 especially. Some of the names that you mentioned were my friends, personally. They weren't just police officers. These are people that I grew up with in this community, that I've known. I know their family members. So their death during this time doesn't just hit the city in a kind of political way, it hits us in a personal way, that we lost members of our family due to a deadly disease that has been ravaging our country for a long period of time, and thank God that we've been able to get it under control with the help of all of you here today. I just want to mention a few of the community organizations that are here. I shouldn't do this because I'm going to miss somebody, and I'm going to hear about it after this is over, but I just want to thank the Hub, Al Tariq Best, for the work that he's doing in our community. Brick City Peace Collective, NAACP was here with us as well. Shani Baraka Center, our new Office of Violence Prevention and Trauma Recovery, Equal Justice USA, all of these organizations that are here with us, sitting and partnering with us here in the city of Newark to make sure that our community is safe and safer. Lastly, I just want to thank you. I want to thank all of the police officers who risk their lives every single day in this community. When people are putting a lot of pressure on police officers to focus on what's constitutionally correct and constitutionally right, and they should be. But ultimately, for you being able to withstand that pressure, come to this job and be a professional, to put on your uniform and deal with what is going on in this community. And some days are worse than others. Not knowing what's going to happen every time you go out in the street or your name is called to be put on the scene. That God calls you specifically to show up at a scene at a very specific time. And you pray that your training, your integrity, and your character pays off. Today, we're honoring you because of your character, your integrity, and because your professionalism and the job you did in a very difficult situation that many people cannot do, but more importantly, would not do. Particularly in this time, as they talk about officers that are standing down all over the country. They're saying that officers are not working. I am so proud to say that that is not happening in Newark, New Jersey, that our officers come to work every day. They put on their uniform and they do what they're supposed to do to make sure that they go home safely to their children and their wives, their significant others. But most importantly, we do a good job at that. We may make errors here and there, but we do what's good for the people of this city. God bless you. God speak to you. Keep up the great work and congratulations.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize the Police Division command staff in the front. Thank you very much for all you do. This time is my honor to introduce our Public Safety Director, Brian A. O'Hara, for a few words.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thankful to be here this afternoon at this ceremony. After the last 2 years, we haven't been able to do so. It's good to be here and get this going again. Thankful to the mayor, business administrator, to all the county, state, and federal law enforcement officers who are here with us today, and of course to all our partners in the community who have been standing with us, particularly over the last year, through some very trying times to help us accomplish the safety that we have in our community. It's important that we started off by giving honor to all the officers who are not here with us today, who were here just 1 year ago. It's incredible to think all that has happened to us over this last year. But for years, this ceremony always honors our personnel who go above and beyond the call of duty to keep our community safe. And this year is one which we are pledging to continue the progress that has made, but also a certain sense of renewal as we're finally coming out of this period of pandemic, which has caused a breakdown in so many institutions in society that we are just now beginning to have to deal with as law enforcement. We're just now beginning to see the effects of, our education systems and our schools being closed, our economy, problems in housing for folks, and of course the courts and the entire criminal justice system having a backlog from all the stuff going on around the pandemic. We know it's been very destabilizing in sense of public safety all across the country over the last year. And of course we know that, like so many other things, those in our community who are most disadvantaged have disproportionately been most affected by all of this tragedy. So we know for our police officers that we have a very difficult time ahead, particularly this summer and over the next year. But we know that the culture has changed in the Newark Police Division. We know that our officers are capable and have proven that we know how to police this community when given the resources. And we're thankful to the mayor and the governing body for all of their support, for hiring 500 officers over the last year, everything from that to the 10 new police cars that are on display that are ready to go out in the field today, and 25 more Ford Explorers that the council began their approval process this morning to deliver to the police department. We also know that, the department today is not what it was when so many of us started years ago. This was a department that oftentimes was at war with the community. It's one that there was a culture and an expectation that, this was a fight of good versus evil. It was us versus them, and that kind of thing. Today, we've clearly learned to take advantage of so many of you that are willing to partner with us to try and create a true sense of safety in the community. We've been able to demonstrate that we are one that chooses to de-escalate and to diffuse situations instead of going in overly aggressive and making things much worse. We know that from the examples that we are honoring here today, from the courage and bravery of our officers. We know especially from the events of May 30th at the 1st Precinct, how absolutely critical it was to have good leadership in place in the police department in combination with community members who are willing to stand up and get between those folks from the outside who wanted to come here and cause destruction that day. So I want to thank you all for your dedication, both in the community and in the police department, for your time and your talents, your courage and your bravery, and for displaying the ethics and ideals that make our city great. Thank you all, and be safe.
Thank you, Director. This time, I'd like to call forth our Deputy Police Director, Sharonda M. Morris, for some remarks.
Good afternoon. I am truly grateful to stand before you today. I respectfully recognize each dignitary, leader, and friend of Newark here with us. And I concur with Mayor Baraka and Public Safety Director O'Hara in their gracious recognition for each of today's awards recipients. As I look out on this audience of those being recognized for outstanding service, I want to thank you for the seeds you have planted. You work toward the greater good of the city of Newark is like seeds planting that bring forth good fruit in due weather, in good season, sorry. Each of you have planted seeds of excellence, leadership, community service, and self-sacrifice on behalf of the residents of Newark. To our police commanders and officers, thank you for planting the seeds of bravery that saved lives and have kept us, our community safe. To our community service officers, thank you for planting the seeds of executing ideas that met the needs of countless Newark families and seniors. And to our community leaders, thank you for planting the seeds of consistency and doing the right things at the right time for our residents. It goes without saying that good seeds produce good fruit. And I trust that others will follow your example in serving our community in spirits of excellence. On behalf of the Newark Police Division, I honor each of you for the sweet fruit of your labor. Your dedication, commitment, and outstanding service is well deserved in today's recognition. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Police Director. This time, I'd like to call forth our Chief of Police, Lee Douglas III.
I feel like I'm at roll call. Good afternoon. I'd like to thank the Mayor, the BA, the Municipal Council, our partners of the state and federal agencies. The officers honored here today have done incredible work. That work includes saving citizens who are thinking about taking their own lives, saving victims of gunshot wounds, removing dangerous weapons from the street, and even things like feeding the homeless and mentoring children, and even showing great restraint when it wasn't necessarily had to be. On behalf of the command staff, I would like to congratulate all the officers and the citizens honored here today. As police officers, we are held to a higher standard. The awards presented here prove that you were up to that challenge. Your work has changed the relationship between the community and the police, and I feel the difference. Your actions have saved lives. Your actions have built a lasting relationship. I ask you to keep up the good work and to inspire all your colleagues to do the same. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. We now move towards the awards portion of this program. At this time, I'd like to call forth the mayor, director, deputy director, and the chief. Help join presenting this award. Presentation of the Medal of Honor Award. Awarded for conspicuous acts of gallantry involving the risking of life and knowledge of that risk. This year's award is presented to Police Officer Leonardo Guzman and Police Officer Angel Paro. Please come up. In front and center there. Police Officer Paro can't be with us today, but because it's such a prestigious award and he did such a great job, we're going to make sure to recognize him. The award reads, Medal of Honor. On July 4, 2019, Police Officer Leonardo Guzman and Police Officer Angel Paro were dispatched to the location of 43 Blum Street on a call of an emotionally disturbed person. Upon arriving to the scene, the person was found to be very combative and aggressive. Officers called for the assistance of emergency medical services and in the meantime, attempted to keep the individual safe. Suddenly, the disturbed person attempted to leave the scene. So in order to maintain her location for emergency services, Officer Guzman attempted to stop her and she turned and stabbed him in the right forearm. Officer Paro then attempted to assist and restrain the subject, but he was also stabbed in the right thigh. The officers were finally able to restrain the woman without further incident as she was placed under arrest and transported to the hospital. Presented on this day, June 1st, 2020, by the Mayor, Public Safety Director, and Chief of Police. Congratulations. Actually, you know what? Actually, before we take a picture, I might as well give him the next award because he gets it too. The next award is the presentation of Purple Heart Award. Awarded to members of the division who, as a result of actions that the Honor Board has recommended to be worthy of being awarded and who have suffered physical injury or death or disfigurement or permanent impairment of health. This year's recipients, Police Officer Leonardo Guzman, Police Officer Angel Paro. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, how about another round of applause for our Purple Heart and Medal of Honor recipients? Yeah, stay up here. Yeah, you can stand up if you want. Why not? We'll get the fire chief in here too. Why not? We're one big family now, right? The next award being presented is the Medal of Merit. Awarded for distinguished meritorious achievement for acts calling for a degree of merit which, though not unique, must be distinctive for acts of courage. This year we have 3 recipients for 2 separate jobs. There's 2 recipients for the first job. I'd like to call forth Police Officer Ronald Jones and Police Officer Wilson Morales Rivera. Come forward.
Today.
Let's go. Step
Double
it
time,
up.
brother. Double time.
Man, I think he's on a catwalk. Let's go.
Hold up. I want to give them time to take all the photos.
Yeah. Soak it all in.
Gotta do push-ups. Congratulations.
Yeah, just read it. The award reads, Medal of Merit. On December 31st, 2018, Police Officer Ronald Jones and Police Officer Wilson Morales Rivera responded to an active fire at the location of 607 South 20th Street. Everybody wants to be a firefighter. Realizing the necessity of urgency and an immediate action, officers entered the burning building to alert residents.
Because there were no firemen.
They were eating, you know. Officers went door to door while the flames raged on to ensure that all apartments were evacuated. Officers escorted tenants out to safety, all while remaining calm and showing courage in the face of imminent danger. Presented this day, June 1st, 2020, by the Mayor, Public Safety Director, and Chief of Police. Congratulations. Hold the picture.
Good job, guys. All right.
The second Medal of Merit Award goes to Police Officer Hassan Shah. Officer Shah, please come forward.
Why I say it don't fit no more? Proud of you anyway.
The award reads, Medal of Merit. While off duty on June 13, 2019, Police Officer Hassan Shah observed the vehicle with the driver inside, sinking into the lake at Branchbrook Park. Police Officer Shaw quickly assessed the situation and took immediate action, jumping into the lake. Officer Shaw was single-handedly able to rescue the driver from drowning and pull him to safety. Presented this day, June 1st, 2020, by the Mayor, Public Safety Director, and Chief of Police. Congratulations, Officer Shaw. Okay, the next award is a presentation of the Medal for Excellent Police Duty. When I call your name, please stand in place and remain standing until I complete the reading of the names. I'm also going to ask everybody to hold their applause until I finish reading all the names. It's quite a bit. Lieutenant Ephraim Gonzalez. Lieutenant Thomas Ruan. Sergeant Antonio Barbosa. Sergeant Ochang Denard. Sergeant Jose Figueroa. Sergeant Abraham James. Sergeant Angel L. Perez. Sergeant Ricardo Velez. Detective Beverly Cavalcante. Detective Josue Duran. Detective Joa Oliveira. Detective George Pereira. Detective Frank Riches. Detective Jamie Rivera. Detective Rodney Severe. Police Officer Stephen Acevedo. Police Officer Christopher Adams. Police Officer Jocelyn Allen. Police Officer John Alvarado. Police Officer Digno Andino. Police Officer Daniel Arias. Police Officer Tevin Barber. Police Officer Carlos Bernard. Police Officer Marcus Brock. Police Officer Jose Ray Colon. Police Officer Angel Concepcion. Police Officer Ramon Cruz Jr. Police Officer Jamila De Oliveira. Police Officer Billy Dobbs. Police Officer Christopher Donker. Police Officer Kiana Ely. Police Officer Ronaldi Espinal. Police Officer Edward Fortune. Halfway there. Police Officer Salvatore Galvano. Police Officer Christopher Gomez. Police Officer Brian Holmes. Police Officer Jaleel Holmes. Police Officer Shaquille Johnson. Police Officer Samuel Joseph. Police Officer Joseph Kelly. Police Officer Malcolm Kirkland. Police Officer Casey Lorenzo. Police Officer Sean F. Lake. Police Officer Eric Lorenzo. Police Officer Kerwin Lovo. Police Officer Ian Marsh. Police Officer Justin Moss. Police Officer Sharon Murphy. Police Officer Kennedy Murray. Police Officer Matthew Nice. Police Officer Brandon Ortiz. Police Officer Victor Ortiz. Police Officer Yasilis Ortiz. Police Officer Anthony Palmieri. Police Officer Eric Paro. Police Officer Michael Pena. Police Officer Christopher Perez. Police Officer Eric Peralta. Police Officer Connor Peterson. Police Officer Jamie Pinto. Police Officer Alfonso Reddick. Police Officer Alexis Rivera. Police Officer Dennis Rivera. Police Officer Shamira Rollins. Police Officer Eddie Rosario. Police Officer Nicholas Russell. Oh, wait, one more page. Police Officer Clario Sampson. Police Officer Michael Sosa. Police Officer Aisha Stokes. Police Officer Jake Torres. Police Officer Moises Vasquez. Police Officer Eduardo Velarde. Police Officer Albert Vera. Police Officer Raul A. Villanueva. Police Officer Jalil Wilkins. Police Officer Akil Young. Police Officer Giancarlo Zazzara. Police Officer Jacob Zuzunaga. That's fun to say. Special Police Officer Luis Torres. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause for all of our C Award recipients? Thank you very much. Job well done. Make it seated. All right. Next award is a presentation of the De-Escalation Award. Awarded to officers who in the line of police duty utilize exceptional tactical skills, verbal approaches, and/or techniques, either singularly or in coordination with others, to de-escalate a situation that could have resulted in the use of force. Now, every single one of you in uniform here and everyone that's on duty right now uses de-escalation techniques every day. It's ingrained in you in the academy, and you know that the director speaks about it every day. The reason is we usually don't hear about it because things go well when you de-escalate correctly. And so we definitely want to make sure that we recognize this as an award now going forward. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2019-2020 De-Escalation Award recipients, when I call your name, please stand and remain standing until I finish the reading of the names. Also, please hold your applause till the end. Sergeant Manuel Cortez. Detective Shaquille Johnson. Detective Matthew O'Hearn. Detective Vilma Plaza. Detective Alexis Rivera. Detective Mesa Thomas. Police Officer Jocelyn Allen. Police Officer Bobby Bullock. Police Officer Amanda Cabrera Lopez. Police Officer Beverly Cavalcante. Police Officer Roderick Chipepo. Police Officer Paul Cox. Police Officer Jason Inacio. Police Officer Kerwin Lovo. Police Officer Marquesa McCrae. Police Officer Brandon Ortiz. Police Officer Isabel Reyes. Police Officer Owen Riley. Police Officer Jalil Wilkins. Police Officer Akil Young. Police Officer Jamie Zavala. And there he is again, Police Officer Jacob Zuzunaga. Ladies and gentlemen, our 2019-2020 De-Escalation Award recipients. How about a round of applause? may be seated. Our next award is a presentation of Officer of the Month Award. Awarded for an accumulation of police work beyond an ordinary or routine nature within a calendar month, which is deserving of official recognition based on factors to include any combination of police productivity and the preservation of life. Ladies and gentlemen, our 2019-2020 Officer of the Month Award recipients. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing until I read all the names, and let's hold our applause till the end. Police Officer Ramon Cruz. Police Officer Gustavo da Silva. Police Officer Samuel Joseph. Police Officer Claudia P. Martinez. Police Officer Yasilis Ortiz. Police Officer Eric Person. And Police Officer Shamira Rollins. Congratulations. How about a round of applause for our Officer of the Month? This time, I'd like to call forth our Public Safety Director, who's going to award the Director's Award.
So it's an honor to have the opportunity to give this award. This and the Chiefs of Awards are the ones that are typically not listed in the program, and hopefully the folks that get them aren't aware of it when it actually happens. So thinking about having this opportunity, I really recognize that there's just so many incredible leaders in the police division. So many people I'm thankful to have known and worked for years, but also, our leaders are not just folks who have rank, they're also some of our younger officers coming up as well. And so one thing the mayor said while I was thinking about this is he said to a whole group of us, that work on his staff, that we have to remember that some of us got here by taking the elevator, and some of us got here taking the stairs. And this particular person is someone who for 25 years has been taking the stairs in the Newark Police Department. This is someone who came on the job as a young person, as a single parent, and worked nights for years and did not complain. This is someone who years ago you would see on the street, working at night in patrol, in plain clothes. They'd be showing up at your backup, or you'd be going to their backup, standing there taking a gun off the street, running through backyards, and those kinds of things. There's few people in the police division, just because of the way things work out, that wind up being able to have experience in sort of all the different core functions of policing. When you get promoted, the Promotional Review Board looks at the time you've spent in patrol, time you spent investigative, time you spent working in internal affairs, and experience doing administrative work. So this is one of the unusual folks who, over the years, has experience in all those areas and has excelled. It's someone who I've always thought is one of the toughest police officers this city has, someone who's not afraid to speak up for what's right, especially when it's not popular to do so, and to stand up for folks, whether it's folks in the community or a fellow officer who may need assistance. Someone who has always shunned attention, so will hate that I'm doing this right now, but someone who has never been one to shy away from a confrontation. This is someone who's always been faithful to the people of this city and absolutely loyal to the department. So it's someone I trust completely because we share those same values. So this year, the Public Safety Director's Award goes to the Chief of Staff for the Public Safety Department, and that's Captain Tawana Rollins. You gotta come up.
Go ahead, T. Congratulations. Good job.
Congratulations, Captain. I wish the camera could have turned around and see her. She kept sinking in the chair, lower and lower, when she figured out it was her. This time I'd like to call forth our police chief, Lee Douglas, for the presentation of the Chiefs Award. All right, they're running a little late, so we're going to skip. Out of order. This time I'd like to call back up our Director O'Hara, for the presentation of North Police Leadership Award. I'd like to call forth our recipients of North Police Leadership Award. When I call your name, please come forward on stage. Deputy Chief Arthur George. Captain Matthew Luan. Captain Richard Casal. Sergeant Keith Hopkins. Deputy Coordinator of OEM, Juba Dowdell. And our Reverend Louise Scott Roundtree.
Thank you. So we mentioned before, obviously, you know, what happened here May 30th, which is probably the most significant protest the city has had in decades. And also the whole summer of protests, literally dozens of protests. And we know a lot of prayer got us through that and a lot of hard work, but enough can't be said for the leadership of these folks up here. Because we know, especially, you know, what we've seen around the rest of the country is when folks were out there voicing their frustrations over the murder of George Floyd and all kinds of other, you know, injustices, when police react in an aggressive way, in a very confrontational way, cities literally burned. And that was a possibility here. Again, it's because of the partnerships we had with the community and folks from the community intervening, but enough can't be said for the leaders up here who helped lead the police department through that summer to ensure that none of our cops were put in a situation that could have made this city, you know, suffer like the rest of the country. So thank you all for your leadership. We appreciate you. Thank you. So for the next award, I want to call forth Sergeant Stephen Delaval, Detective Jamie Rivera, Detective Rodney Severe, and Detective Mark Thompson. I'd also like to ask U.S. Attorney to come forth, U.S. Attorney Rachel Honig, the First Assistant Raul Agarwal, Deputy Chief of the Criminal Division Desiree Latzar, and Assistant U.S. Attorney Jamel Semper. So this is the unit award this year. It goes to the task force officers that are assigned to work with the U.S. Attorney's Office. It's a unique partnership that former Director Ambrose and former U.S. Attorney Carpenito started, and it's one that has yielded incredible results. Enough cannot be said for the work that they have all done, but I'll give you all a brief idea. Since inception, they have made 38 arrests, and because they are deputized as task force officers for the U.S. Attorney's Office, they are able to make federal charges as well as state charges. So 23 of the people that they have been arrested have been charged federally, 15 charged at the state level. They recovered 394 bricks of heroin, 410 grams of raw heroin, 821 vials of crack cocaine, 21 firearms were taken off the street, 9 vehicles received, over $200,000 in currency seized, and over $225,000 in jewelry seized. In addition, they were able to close out 3 non-fatal shootings in the city, in which 2 of those suspects were charged federally and 1 charged at the state level. So I think, needless to say, their work has been absolutely incredible. It has helped to keep the city safe, and it is a partnership that we're looking to build upon. Thank you. I want to call forth the U.S. Attorney for her remarks.
So I want to thank the director and the mayor for inviting us to be here today, and also for their partnership, not just this year, but going back many years to our shared mission to combat violent crime in Newark. We recognize that there are many drivers of violent crime, including, as the director mentioned, poverty, joblessness, housing insecurity, food insecurity. But there is also a law enforcement role to play here, and as members of federal law enforcement, we know that the only way to truly be effective is to be really closely tied in and lashed up with our state and local partners. And we have no better local partner than the City of Newark and the Department of Public Safety. We started a violent crime initiative back in 2017 to try to focus on the very small number of people who are, in our mind, and we believe it's been proven to be true, the causes of virtually all of the violence, and try to focus, in a targeted fashion on those offenders. We haven't solved violent crime, and we're not promising to be able to do that, but we do think that together we've been able to make an impact. And no bigger impact than we've been able to have through the work of these members of the Newark Police Division and Essex County Prosecutor's Office. They took the VCI sort of that one step further. The idea was to build on the intelligence and sort of on-the-ground capabilities of state and local partners, add the often greater resources of the federal government, and try to do this together. These folks have as I said, taken it one step beyond that. They are assigned to the VCI not just to make sure that the information is flowing freely about the drivers of violence, the small group of individuals who are causing it, but also to actually go out and work those cases, to investigate and eventually participate in the prosecution of those offenders. And Director O'Hara talked about the statistics. They're impressive. We're looking forward to more to come as we work together. As you know, across the country, violent crime is up. It's up in Newark as well, not anywhere near to the degree that it is in other cities, but we're very focused on it. We care about it very deeply, and we're not going to rest while it continues to be a problem. So I just want to express our appreciation of my whole office, including all the folks who are standing up here on the stage with me who wanted to be here to recognize you. And you deserve it, and more to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Jess. Thank you. I just want to let folks know that the words of the U.S. Attorney are not empty, and quite modest, actually. I've been absolutely amazed since being the Public Safety Director the last 2 months that the times that I've been able to get on the phone 11:30 at night and have conference calls with assistant U.S. attorneys over shooting and violence that's happening in this city. And it's been absolutely incredible to me how personal they have taken that. Because the reality is the public only really holds the mayor and the police department accountable for what happens here. So it's just, I just can't tell you how thankful we are that we have a team at the U.S. Attorney's Office who takes what happens here so seriously and is so deeply involved and committed. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you, Director. Okay. The next award is the Police Division Community Service Recognition Award. This is awarded to Newark Police Division member who go above and beyond to foster a better working relationship between the Newark Police Division and the community we serve. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing until I call all names. Also, please hold your applause until I'm finished reading the names. 2019-2020 Police Division Community Service Award recipients are Lieutenant Oching Denard, Sergeant Keith Hopkins, Newark Police Division Softball Team, Detective Damaris Phoebus, Detective Yolanda Mitchell, Detective Michael Noel, Detective Robert Moore, Detective Noemi Medina, Police Officer Ricardo Barbosa, Police Officer Mapletine Burney, Police Officer Betty Burrows, Police Officer Kenyona Ely, Police Officer Yassine Elhamyani, hope I got that right, Police Officer George Hines, Police Officer Irvin Lorenzo, Police Officer Malika Muhammad, Police Officer Albert Porter, Police Officer Tara Rich. Police Officer Kateria Seguinot. Police Officer Joey Tavares. And Police Officer Latoya Young. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause for Police Division Community Service Award recipients? Please be seated. The next award we're going to present is a special award. This is a 2019-2020 Newark Police Explorers Appreciation Award. This award goes to Detective Robert Moore. Detective Moore, please come forward. Oh, he's in the cheap seats in the back. Come on. Does he have an award or is he still? Mayor, Director, do you want to present it? Next award is the 2019-2020 Community Service Award recipients. As the director and the mayor both said, we can't do this alone, and so we definitely lean on some community partners to allow us to build a bridge and a better relationship between our police division and the community we serve. When I call your name, please come forward. The Hub, Altariq Best. Congratulations. The next Community Service Recognition Award goes to Newark Community Solutions, Kelly Mulligan. The next award presented to Newark Anti-Violence Coalition, Natasha Allen.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Our next award goes to Brick City Peace Collective, Dawn Hayes.
Thank y'all for supporting me.
Next one, Shadi Dukes. Next award goes to New Direction, Shadi Dukes.
First time with no mask.
That's right. We got some work to do, fellas.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Janice Kettles. Next award goes to Shani Baraka Center, Janice Kettles.
Thank you so much.
Next award goes to the Newark Street Academy, Sakina Khan. Congratulations. Deborah Gregory. The next award goes to the NAACP, Deborah Gregory. Next award goes to my old debate partner, Newark Public Schools Superintendent Roger Leon. That's why he talks so much now, because he didn't talk back then. Our next Community Service Recognition Award goes to St. Barnabas Hospital Network, Kim Cook. Our next award goes to our clergy affairs here in the city, Reverend Louise Scott Roundtree.
Oh, Lord, this is a good birthday present. Thank you, guys. You're welcome, sir.
Now, there were a few other awards. I'm going to call them out because they may have come and arrived after we began. We have one. Okay. We spotted two more. From Equal Justice USA, Will Simpson. That's it. I'm out. I'm getting my hardware. I'm out. I'm just looking for him. From the Newark Community Street Team, Damon Durden. Damon.
That's how you hustle, Dame. That's it. Show them how to do it.
Hey.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Chief. Thanks, Chief. Hey, congratulations. Thank y'all again. Thank you, brother.
From the Office of Violence Prevention and Trauma Recovery, Lakeisha Yuri. Oh, it's like the Price is Right over here. Look at that hustle.
I gotta bring y'all to the Mets game.
No, coach, a picture.
Help my boys out on the field.
I may need to hire you guys. Walk around with me. From the Rutgers Newark Public Safety Collaborative, Alex Jimenez Santana. Like 5 left. I'm just going to call them out. All right, there's 5 more awards here. I'm going to call them out because we definitely want to recognize them today. And if you happen to be here and we missed your arrival, please just come up. My brother's keeper, Katim Sharer. Sharer? Okay. Hospital-based violence intervention program, Michael Ordonez. From the Newark Communities for Accountable Policing, Zaid Muhammad. Beth Israel CEO, Darrell Terry, Sr. He's here, there he is. Great partner with us in public safety. Sir. Now, I believe the last person is the People's Organization for Progress, Larry Ham. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, how about one more round of applause for all of our Community Service Recognition Awards. Thank you very much for the partnership. We have, I think that's the last one.
All right, for the last community award, I want to call forth Detective Brian Holmes. You here? Come down. Where's he at? He's over here. Okay, good. So this last award, we wanted to separate out. This one we're calling the LGBTQ plus Community Police Partnership Award. And as I think a lot of folks know, Lieutenant Rajan Yuri and other officers in the Consent Decree and Planning Unit have done some work over the last 2 years to try and strengthen partnerships with our LGBTQ plus community. And we began a series of conversations a couple of years ago that were difficult at times. But again, just like all the other community groups and community partners we have, we were just very fortunate that we had folks that were willing to open their doors and to let us in, and to begin a conversation on how we can work to make things better and work to truly be, your police and everyone's police in this community. So 3 partners in particular I want to call forth. Pastor Kevin Taylor from Unity Fellowship Church, Newark. Pastor Taylor opened his doors to us and was a constant partner the entire time, helping to bring folks together. Also, the director of the Newark LGBTQ Community Center, Director Beatrice Simpkins. Director Simpkins is someone who is, a steadfast partner, someone who will work with us, but also ensure that we are held accountable and that the city is held accountable. And then someone who has helped to try and take our outreach to the next level. She has opened her doors to victims, crime victims from the LGBTQ community, to reach out to them after they've interacted with police and ensure that they get services tailored specifically to them. So we wanted to make sure Director Simpkins was acknowledged. And also, I know she's not available to be here, but I'm not sure if anyone from her institute is, Amanda Simpson from the HMI Institute. Amanda partnered with the police department for a couple of years now and has assisted in creating training for police and community around LGBTQ issues. So thank you all for your partnership. We appreciate you.
We're going to hit rewind here for a little bit. We're going to go back to the presentation of the Chief's Award. I'd like to call forth our Police Chief, Lee Douglas.
Yeah, the two officers came late, so I changed my mind. Just kidding. So, as a captain in the 6th Precinct, I always relied on these two officers. When things were tough, they were great getting guns off the street, getting intelligence related to shootings, and I always relied on them. It's not a popularity contest. This is a Chief's Award. When the videos came out for the plainclothes officers, they did not stop working. They kept working, and they showed that you can do this job on tape. So I appreciate you two guys. Officer Reddick and Maldonado, would you please come up? Good job. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay, that closes our awards portion of the ceremony. At this time, I'd like to call forth our Deputy Director of Community Relations, Reverend Ronald L. Slaughter, for our benediction.
Let us all stand. Let us receive the benediction. May the Lord bless you, and may the Lord keep you. May the Lord allow his face to shine upon you. May the Lord lift up his countenance before you. May the Lord be gracious unto you. And even in your good days and your bad days, your difficult days and your smooth days, your happy days and your sad days, I pray that the Lord will give you peace. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend. Good day to own a trophy store, right? All these plaques we handed out. On behalf of Mayor Baraka, Director O'Hara, Chief Douglas, and the entire public safety family, thank you for coming. This concludes our ceremony. Once again, to our award recipients, congratulations on a job well done. Keep up the good work. Another round of applause for all of you. May God bless the city of Newark, and may God bless the Newark Police Division. Get home safely.